Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting the like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. If you're on mobile, extra cheeky if you can hit that hype button as well. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from adbubbly8281 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit and says, am I the arsehole for not combining income and / or sharing my savings with my girlfriend, so we both have spending money? I'm going to try and keep this short. My girlfriend and I moved in together this past summer. We split joint expenses, rent, utility, groceries, etc. proportional to income. I make about 3 times as much as my girlfriend. As a result, I pay 75% of our joint expenses. I have virtually no expenses outside of the point expenses. My girlfriend has a lot of expenses outside of our joint expenses. She has a car payment, student loan payments, health insurance premiums, medical debt, personal credit card debt, etc. At the end of the month, she does not have very much money left over. I have a fair bit left over at the end of the month, but most of it I save. I do have a fun money account to treat myself to nice things every once in a while. About a month ago, my girlfriend approached me about the idea of combining income so we each have money at the end of the month to save and / or do fun things. I flatly refused this request. I think splitting joint expenses proportional to income is the fair model for an unmarried couple like us living together, and that is what we do. Over Halloween weekend, my girlfriend's sister and her fiance are having their bachelorette and bachelor parties, respectively. My girlfriend is going to the bachelorette party and I'm going to the bachelor party. The bachelor party will be a weekend boys trip to Florida. The bachelorette party is substantially smaller due to my girlfriend's inability to contribute significantly to the fun for the party. My girlfriend and her sister talked about the situation. My girlfriend told her sister she cannot afford a big trip. My girlfriend's sister asked how I was affording the bachelor party trip. Then for reasons that still make no sense to me, my girlfriend went into detail about how much I make and how much in savings. I have substantial savings because I went to college on scholarships, and after I graduated, my parents gifted me my entire college fund. My girlfriend's sister has convinced my girlfriend that I am selfish with money, even though I cover 75% of joint expenses and cover 100% of our going out activities when we do go out. I'm pretty pissed about my girlfriend sharing personal financial information with her sister, but I am unchanged in my position on combining our income. Now for me, absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. Loads of people in these stories that we've covered in the past always talk about proportional income, and that's what's happening in this situation. You're already paying 75% of the joint expenses, which is already incredibly generous for like an unmarried couple, I think. And quite frankly, her personal debts aren't your problem. But the fact that she's going to her sister and telling her your salary and saving details, in my opinion, that's just a massive breach of trust. And now the sister's calling you selfish for not funding your girlfriend's fun money while she's paying off her own debts. It very much felt to me that she was setting OP up to look like the bad guy in this situation because he earns more money. You know, it's a air quotes, I'm just venting session that conveniently looks bad against the OP. And is getting the sister to go against him at the same time as well, which, you know, would piss me right off. The commenter says to OP, no, I'm saying this as a woman. Do not join finances with her. You're already covering more than she is. 75% joint expenses and 100% of dates. She's out of line asking for more and babbling to her sister. She needs to budget better, get a part-time job, something if she wants additional money. Not the arsehole, but she definitely is. Stella says, I would not marry this woman. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, her debts are not your fault. False Ostrich says, do not combine finances with someone you are not married to. Even after you are married, a lot of couples keep things separate and have joint accounts for bills and possibly large expenses or retirement savings. Or they agree that a certain amount will go to bills, to savings, and then to have a fun account. I do think that this is going to fester. You guys have different approaches to money and different debt loads. You might think of couples counseling, and please do remember that if you do marry this person, her debt will become your debts. There are certainly ways to strategize how to deal with that as a couple, which I would not begin before you get married. But if you have radically different approaches to finances, it will only become a bigger issue. And if she is comfortable sharing every detail of your relationship with her sister, which some people do, then I would expect at some point every problem you guys have will make it to her sister's ears. Finally, if her sister is someone who can impact the way she thinks, I would take stock of her as well. Do the two of you think differently? Where do any differences pop up? On what issues? If you and her sister are incompatible in significant ways, you might consider what that means as well. I would not make any further long-term commitments to her, and certainly no kids, until you guys are on the same page about things. So it's roughly half a month later that OP does come in with an update and says, 4 days after my post, I had a long sit-down conversation with my girlfriend. Prior to us moving in together, we had a long discussion about what expenses I would cover and why. The reason I moved in with her was to take off some of the load for daily expenses so that she could pay off her debt and save a little each month. Prior to us moving in together, she was going into debt each month just to cover her expenses. I wanted to help her out, but also I wanted to continue to save a substantial amount of money each month towards buying a house. We talked about all this again. I thought we were on the same page. I asked my girlfriend if something had changed. She told me no. She simply is not happy with this arrangement. She has friends who have been dating a shorter amount of time than us, but they share money more readily than we do. That is what she wants. I told her I'm not okay with that arrangement, and if that is what she wants, we should probably break up so she can find that. She agreed. Shortly after that discussion, I reached out to the landlord to try and see if we could negotiate an early termination of the lease for the both of us. I'm still discussing with them. My ex is looking for a new place for her and is having a hard time. She came to me and asked if we could try and work on our relationship. I told her no and that she will resent me because this is not what she wants. She asked if I could help her out for a few months with rent on a new place. I told her no. She is pretty mad about all of it, but this is where we are. I tell you what, I could see that one coming a mile off. I thought, she's in a good position right now. She's staying in her own place, paying proportional rent, having 100% of her dates paid for. Whenever I see scenarios like this in my head, I always think of that meme of the guy riding along on his bicycle and then getting a stick and sticking it in his own front wheel. Bloody hell. Commenter said, dang, she took you for granted and is now dealing with the consequences. Good on you to stand your ground. Riker Omega 3 says lol, so she would rather be single and pay 100% of her bills and go into debt in order to pretend she has more money than she actually does, then cut back on her spending and be more responsible. Then she comes crawling back when she realizes of how badly of a mistake she made by listening to her friends, and then has the audacity to ask for financial help. Brother, you dodged a gigantic bullet with this one. Another one says, did you ever bring up her betrayal of your trust in sharing your financial status with her sister? She's a gold digger. You dodged a bullet. She fucked around and found out. Now she can find out again how expensive rent is when she's paying 100% of it and not 25% of it. Maybe her sister has a guest bedroom. She can move in after they get back from the honeymoon. But breakups are still painful. Sorry dude or dudette. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now our next story is coming from the user boyfriend making fun of me throwaway, who says, my 24 female, boyfriend 26 male, found a secret of mine and won't leave me alone because of it. Opie says, I'm a writer. A serious writer who's got her first book published and a few poems that made its way to the local paper. I make a living out of it. I also have a very secret blog that I use to publish fan fiction under a pseudonym. I know when we mention fan fiction, the first thing that comes to mind is that I'm an obsessed fangirl who writes countless of OCs and all of them are in love with an alter ego of myself and blah blah. No, I just really like exploring my favorite characters and the universe they live in. If I'm reading a book, playing a game, watching a movie, I sometimes think, what if? And I write it out. It's been my secret for a long while now. It used to be. My boyfriend found my blog when I forgot to clear out my history on my laptop. I don't hide stuff from him. It's just a habit I picked up since I was a child and hit that curious about porn phase. We had a family computer, and if I didn't clear the history, I'd get caught. So I always do this. He's been mocking me for it. I'm not fragile. I can take a mocking every now and then if I know it's not really malicious. My boyfriend, on the other hand, keeps laughing and making jokes about me being a Tumblr girl, about me wanting to be with those characters and so on. It's to the point he read a few and started nitpicking and making fun of some of it. I talked to him. He dismissed me. I finally snapped yesterday when he came over and I was writing, again for the local paper. He said, "Writing your weird smut fanfiction, fangirl." He meant it as a joke. He laughed, but I was already so cranky that I told him to leave. He looked at me puzzled and said he was kidding, but I kicked him out. English is not my native language. I started learning English when I was 9 years old because there was no one to write/read fanfictions of a particular fandom I was into in my native language. Because of it, I discovered how much I loved writing. Because of it, I learned English and it saved my life when I needed a job, but was inexperienced in a lot of things. But man, I could speak and write English fluently, and all thanks to writing fanfiction. It means a lot to me, and I'm not hurt that most people think it's silly and make fun of fanfiction writers. I'm hurt because the boy I love is being horrible about it, and I'm this close to breaking up. I don't deserve to be mocked for something I like, especially when I don't judge him with the stuff he likes. He wants to come over, but he doesn't think he's wrong, and he doesn't see how his behavior is hurting me. What do I do? I learned a long time ago not to be ashamed of doing something that brings me joy, especially when times are hard enough already. But it hurts so much that my boyfriend thinks I'm a loser, and I don't know what to do. I'm starting to see him differently. Now look, as always with a situation like this, it's not just about the fan fiction, it's more about the respect he's showing to you. He's found something that is really personal to you, you're vulnerable about, and it means the world to you. You love doing it. My first thoughts on that is like, if I had a partner that loved doing so much, it brought them joy, it pays their bills at the same time by the sounds of it, and it's really helped shape the person that they are to this day, I'd just be incredibly proud of that, be supporting them as much as I can. Not mocking it, not taking the piss, and I know some people do take playful jabs here and there, but this doesn't feel like that. And, you know, even after this has all happened, he's still not apologizing for it. He still doesn't think he's wrong. He's not taking a step back after all this and says, "Oh look, I'm hurting someone that I'm meant to love here. Someone who's enjoying something that means the world to them. And I'm still not going to stand back and say, look, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to hurt you." Fucking dude's waving that red flag himself. And you're seeing him differently because he's showing you who he is. It's really quite that simple. And once you start to see someone differently like that, I think it's always incredibly hard to come back from. But Too Many Ants says, "The joke is old. No one's laughing except you at me. If you want to have a girlfriend much longer, you'll stop. Any excuses or explanations can be met with either 'I don't care, just stop,' or 'please drop it,' or 'that's it, we're done.'" Bugs Doing Things says, "I hate people who feel the need to tear stuff down that brings others joy. Unless it's kicking puppies or something. It's the symptom of a really miserable personality. Is he a balloon popper about other things too? Regardless, I wouldn't let him over unless he apologized and knocked it off. He doesn't have to get it, but he does need to not be a jerk about it." Just Ask the Internet says, "Oh man, I write and read fan fiction and have since I was 13. It was my first outlet for writing, and having people read and review what I made was massively helpful. I still write the odd fic occasionally when I have writer's block on my real projects. So not only do I understand what's important to you, I also understand the stigma that comes with it. I told my boyfriend about my fanfiction habit probably about a year into our relationship. Both of us will make fun of my habit occasionally, but it's clear when he teases me that he loves me and doesn't mind it. You need to make clear to your boyfriend that while it's fine if he thinks fanfiction is ridiculous, he still needs to support you. He does not get to put you down for your quirks. Make it clear that he's being hurtful and his words are making you reconsider him in a new, non-flattering way. If you can't count on his support about something so harmless, what happens when you get older? When you get in an accident? When you see each other at your low points? Your dude needs a reality check. Stat. C1 says it doesn't matter what he's teasing you over if he thinks it's a joke. He doesn't think he's wrong, and he didn't stop when you asked him to. You don't date people who do this. Everything else just makes him more of an arsehole. He's shitting all over something that not only brings you joy, but that you're making a living out of. Your boyfriend has just shown you what kind of person he is. He doesn't deserve to be in your life. And one more comment from Nico, who says, so let me get this straight. Your boyfriend 1 snooped on your browsing history, 2 found your fanfiction writing blog and immediately started making fun of you about it in rather cruel and sexist ways, 3 looked up your fanfic solely to critique it and make still more nasty cracks at your expense, 4 dismissed you and your feelings when you tried to talk to him about how his constant stream of mocking jokes and insults make you feel, 5 took refuge in the refrain beloved by every arsehole on earth. It was just a joke. Can't you take a joke? When you finally lost patience and got angry with him, and 6 is still maintaining he did nothing wrong. It sounds to me like this guy should no longer be your boyfriend. So after those comments, OP added an edit on that post and said this blew up in a way I didn't expect. I want to answer everyone and I'll try to, but to clear some things up, I don't think my boyfriend was snooping. I always clear my history out of habit and this time I left it there. It most likely came up in search bars since he told me he just found it there. The problem here is not my sense of humor. It's the fact that when I told him I wrote fics and came clean about it, I was laughing with him. Then the mockery started for the next few days. I was a crazed fangirl in his eyes and he wouldn't let go. That is not having a sense of humor. That's someone I love being hurtful towards me on purpose, even though I told him to knock it off. We're currently not talking. He thinks I'm being oversensitive and I'm here reading your replies. I haven't let him come to my house yet and won't until I think of something to tell him. I already have something in my head thanks to you guys. This is the first time I see my boyfriend act in this way. I wouldn't be with him if he had been like this since the start. This is the first time and it's probably why I'm so shocked here. I'm hurt. A joke or two, fine. Straight up mean mockery? Nope. I don't know if he got jealous. I don't know if the content of the stories bothered him. I don't know. I plan on finding out though. Edit 2, I'm meeting with him later today. We're gonna talk. But again, to clear up any confusion, I did not kick him out completely out of nowhere. He was not confused why I snapped. When he started teasing, it was okay the first couple of times. Then he started mocking and reading the fics just to make fun of it. He'd read parts back to me while laughing and making fun of me in a way that wasn't a joke or him seeing me as one of the guys. So OP does come in with an update and says, I want to start this by clearing up some confusion. He and I have teased each other before. I tease my best friend and she teases me back. Stupid trash teasing. I still have some of my earliest fics in English and my grammar was awful. Really awful, with sentences like, and he tried to think not about her. She throws that sentence back at me all the time and it's always in good heart. It's always in a, oh god, look at the shit you used to write and look at you now. This is not what happened with my SO and I. He went out of his way to make me feel uncomfortable and hurt. This is why I came here for help, because someone I love was being cruel out of nowhere. And so for the sake of this update, I need you guys to keep in mind that I'm in no way ashamed of writing fics and that my SO's behavior was more than strange and cruel. He'd never acted that way before. So I met him the day after so we could talk. He was pissed because I kicked him out. I was pissed because of his behavior. We went home and just straight up asked why my fics bothered him so much. He kept saying it didn't, that he was just having fun and all, and I explained to him how it made me feel. He snorted. I told him that if he wasn't going to take this seriously, then he could leave again and not come back. After a while and a brief discussion about him being incredulous that I was so upset over nothing, he finally told me the real reason behind his actions. He doesn't feel comfortable with me writing sex scenes. This came out of nowhere. Even when the issue was discussed here and I was like, nah, he would never have a problem with it. He's even praised the one in my book. Well, I asked him exactly that. Why did he praise the one in my book? Why did he encourage me to write more of it? He said he hadn't stopped to think about the consequences that when I wrote in my book. He didn't know or see how many people enjoyed it. When he read the ones in my blog, he could see how many people reblogged it. He could see the comments. He could see everything. And it bothered him because I was his girlfriend. Okay, I asked him what he meant by that. and he said that I was putting myself out there by writing this stuff. I held back the urge to snap and calmly asked him, again, what the hell he meant by that. He said he knows how guys think, and they were seeing how easy I was, and I'd soon be getting stalkers because, and I quote, I like sex like a slur. Opie then says, isn't that lovely? He quickly tried to fix it to tell me that he didn't mean it like that. He meant that I write detailed and explicit scenes and that might give people the wrong idea. I asked him if I gave him the wrong idea when we have sex and he just shut up. I think he realized how much of an idiot he was because he started apologizing. I just ended it. I ended it and changed my blog's URL. He's been calling and calling and calling, texting me non-stop that he's sorry, but I can't look at him the same way. Even if I ever forgive him. Just know, I like sex, so that makes me a slur, but that's not a problem when I'm having sex with him. I'm just heartbroken over this because, I don't know, this came out of nowhere. Before breaking up, he said everything would be okay if I just never wrote about sex. I mean, really? No. I like it. I like writing about sex. I like writing fics. I like it. It pays my bills, so screw that. But in his mind, if I just stopped writing kinky sex scenes, then he wouldn't feel insecure and wouldn't lash out like this. I'm glad it came out though, this side of him. Still, this is just so freaking sad. And I think just absolute bullet dodged in this situation. It's been 2 in a row on today's stories, right? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.